Take a look at your market news now. Asian markets were down this morning as trade tensions between the US and China continued to weigh on investor sentiment ahead of the implementation of new tariffs. Concerns remain for Shanghai, which is down more than 20% from its January high, on concerns about a slowing economy even before new US tariffs threatened by Donald Trump kick in on Friday. China's currency is also under pressure, although it leveled after a rally on comments from the central bank, who pledged to keep the exchange rate stable and avoid using the currency as a weapon in any trade war. The Nikkei was down 0.33% to close at 21,717. Shanghai's composite index dropped 1%, dipping to 2,759 points, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng also lost 1%, ending the day's trading at 28,239. Wall Street stocks finished lower last night. Technology and transportation shares sagged in light volume trading ahead of the Independence Day holiday today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 0.5%. The broad-based S&P 500 shed 0.5%, while the tech-rich Nasdaq Composite Index tumbled 0.9%. For more on the markets, we cross to Arabile Gumede. He's standing by the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Good afternoon, Arabile. Over to you.
Yeah, well, good afternoon, Nzinga. It's been an interesting afternoon indeed. The JSE is slightly down as well today. The big news, of course, still rippling through from yesterday is the Glencore issue, just with regards to the subpoena coming through from the United States. Just how much impact that will have on the share price today moving forward as well will be quite interesting. For now, it is down around 0.8% as well, just under 58 Rand a share for Glencore as well. That issue will continue to be a massive one, and I think it's something we will continue to discuss over some time as well. The Rand as well has been weakening of late, 13 Rand 67 odd as well, but a euro will also set you back 15 Rand and 96 cents or so. So we'll continue to track the markets and see exactly what is pushing things, of course, out in the United States. Today is July 4th, so that market is closed. But with that, let's take a look at how the European and local markets are trading. Markets faring well, of course, as you just saw there. Well, not so well, should I say, 0.25% lower there for the all share. So some movement being tracked on that front there. Michael Traherne, Portfolio Manager at Vestact Asset Management, joining us today. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. A little bit of that weak trade coming through from the United States. So not really too much to talk about when it comes to, the filtering through from that US market.
Yeah, on Monday we saw 20% less trading volume. Yesterday was a half day in the US, I think it was closer to 50% less trading volume, and today it's closed. So not much direction coming from the US. Most of our direction is still coming from Asian markets, and they've been under pressure for the last 3 days. I think they had a 9-month low at the moment.
Why is that?
Trade tensions. If the US and China go to war, any multinational company is going to start feeling it, and particularly stocks listed in China who trade with the US, potential that their profits will be hit.
Yeah, those impositions are bound to come in on Friday, so they're hoping to strike a deal before that point in time. But I wanted to talk about the big talking point, I suppose, filtered through from yesterday, wiping out, I think it was around 8%, if not more, just with regards to Glencore, and that subpoena coming through from the United States. How big a deal is this, and how significant could this be for Glencore in itself?
Yeah, it obviously puts you, as a shareholder, it's not nice to see 8% wiped off of your value in one day. I think it was down about 12% at one stage, so a slight recovery. And it highlights the risks of investing in mining companies, particularly mining companies who work in areas where politically things aren't stable, and potentially where more questionable practices might be needed to get business done. And even though Glencore hasn't been charged with anything, just a subpoena hints at risk. and investors are now re-rating that stock to reflect potential higher risk, and it's probably not something that's going to be undone anytime soon.
But you do say that it is just a request for documentation. It's not as though it's an official investigation as yet. It's not as though something concrete has been found as yet, but there's a massive sell-off. Ivan Glassenberg himself losing 6.6 billion rand as well yesterday. Are we not reading too much into it, or is it a matter of history has brought them to where they currently stand?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking off air about Glencore's founding history, and it came from Mark Rich & Co., which then became Glencore. And Mark Rich & Co., the company, was infamous, I should say, for skirting regulations to get deals done, to get business done. Mark Rich himself was not allowed into the US because of fraud allegations and money laundering. So it's that potential tainting where the history of Glencore comes from. I think investors are going, look, we know where you came from. A lot of the senior managers who were with Mark Rich & Co. are still around. Potentially that same culture exists in Glencore now, and let's rather sell first, ask questions later.
This is not another Steinhoff, is it?
No, I don't think so. Look, dark clouds hanging over a company definitely make business a lot more difficult. If you go to the banks now and say you need business financing because you want to build a new mine or a new business operation, this is the first thing that's going to come up. Potentially you have to pay higher interest rates when you go to the market asking for money. So it does make things a lot harder. But look, from where we're at the moment, it looks like the company's still sound. I think there was a bigger scare about 2 or 3 years ago when Glencore looked like they were insolvent. They didn't have enough money to pay their debts. They did a whole restructuring. Management put more of their own money into the company, and management actually smiling now. The share price has done really well on the back of the restructuring. So I wouldn't be surprised to see management potentially step up again and say, hey guys, we're going to put our money where our mouth is.
Yeah, certainly an interesting one, and I think it will probably continue to, as we get more details, the share price is bound to move here or there. Let's talk about something else that has also come out. It did come out yesterday, but I think it still resonates still today. Moody's coming out with a warning saying to South Africa that, look, you will find it hard to bring down your debt, particularly considering where the rand sits. The rand in itself has become, a key topic, especially after that petrol price swing as well. Do you see us getting a stronger rand at any point in time? If so, if not, what's causing the downfall?
Yeah, I think confidence is a very big driver of money flows, especially in the short term. And currencies are a very liquid market, which means money can go in and out of them very quickly. And as emerging markets are considered very high risk at the moment, you're seeing a lot of money flow out of emerging markets, not only South Africa, but the likes of Turkey, Argentina, Brazil. All these countries are also struggling with money flowing out and a weakening currency. It's normally a currency can be a barometer of what the global market thinks of what's going on currently in that country. So a weakening rand shows that potentially there's less investors pouring money into the country, and if you've got less money coming in, you've got less GDP growth. Less GDP growth means less employment, less taxes, and it's just it's a cycle. So you definitely want to be on the front foot. You want confidence going up, and that's generally coupled with a stronger currency, not necessarily cause and effect, but they move together.
Yeah. Do we have a notion now where things have completely sort of fallen by the wayside with regards to confidence? We had the big burst with Ramaphosa, etc., but now it just feels like we're now hitting the road, and it's just getting harder and harder.
Yeah, I think part of Ramaphosa definitely saw an initial spurt of investment. Now we're getting to the point of saying, look, okay, we've acknowledged some of the problems, we've got to fix them. When you've got huge debt like South Africa ran up over the last 10 years, that takes a while to undo. The rot in our state-owned enterprises, that doesn't turn around overnight. And even if you change all the managers, you've still got to change the systems, you've got to change the culture, you've got to change bad deals that have been entered into, you've got to pay off debt that was entered into as part of grafting. There's just a lot of change. Doesn't happen quickly. Bureaucracy slows things down. You might see another year or two before things turn around properly. And if we do lay our foundations correctly, we should see good green growth, good growth coming out of it. But probably worse before it gets better.
Michael Traherne, Portfolio Manager at Vestec. Thank you so much
Thanks,
for your
Arabella.
time. Of course, taking a look at some of the big moves as well today. Anglo Gold is up around 3% as well. So too is Anglo and African Rainbow Minerals. So a few of those mining stocks doing relatively well. On the other side, Aspen has fallen off around 1% as one of the big losers today. Let's take a quick look as well at, of course, one of the favorites that a lot of people have looked at, and that's Bitcoin to the US dollar. It'll set you back 6,539, while in South African rands it's 93,313 for one Bitcoin. That's a look at how the markets have performed today. We'll certainly take a look at it again tomorrow. That's it from me for now. Nzinga and Francis will be back just after this.